Hello everyone, my name is Turbo Tony and welcome back to the Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars Let's Play. We are well in this series now. As you remember before, we are now playing as George Stobart, and we're just on vacation. Just got blown up, literally, by a clown. I know it may sound quite weird, but there are reasons for these many things, and if you realised last time, we were questioned by Detective Rosso, and he thinks that we know nothing. Was very happy just to let us leave, and once we got the manhole opener from the worker up above, we were able to come down here, and this is where the clown should have come from. So without further ado, we should continue and on the trail of the costume killer. One thing I have done, looking over the first few videos, because I'm recording this a couple of days after the first few, which you guys have probably already watched, I've upped the volume level of the voices in the game, so you should be able to hear them just a little bit better. But anyway, let's have a look across now. I just realised, you know, these pointers here, they basically help you to see if there's anything there. You can see one there, look, when you hover over it, and then there, and then it fades away after a little while, and then down there. They weren't here when the game was first released, so, like, having to be able to actually go through and have a look around at everything that was on the map to see if you missed anything, was a lot harder to do. Maybe that's something about how much attention span people put into these games and how annoyed people get if they can't immediately figure something out, something along those lines. But still, let's see what's on the floor. It's got to be something interesting, right?
As I picked up the plastic ball, I realized it was intended to be worn. It was the clown's red nose.
Oh wow, so he's obviously dropped something on the way. That could be very useful. Let's have a look at it. Anything in your inventory, if you right click it, he will examine it.
The nose was hollow. Printed on the inside were the words La Risée du Monde, Paris. It was a bright red plastic nose, part of a clown's costume.
Okay. So obviously his. I mean, how many clowns are really going to be coming around here? You know, it's got to be the costume killer, surely. Some more stuff down here as well. Let's have a look at that. Always think over here, if you like, you know, it's a completely different game, but in South Park, I was playing it recently, and there's like loads of bits in the areas on the other side of like a very similar looking place than this in the underground, and you think you could probably go there. But look at the architecture here. I wonder if the catacombs underneath Paris are this beautifully done. I know I was talking to a few people, and people now are doing the horror tours and stuff like that in there. Be quite interesting to look at, I guess.
I scooped up the sodden tissue. It was cold and greasy, like breakfast leftovers.
Oh, lovely. Breakfast leftovers. I hope there's no Frosties in here.
It was the soggy tissue I'd found in the sewers.
Talking of soggy stuff, I hate it, and I don't know if other people are like this. When you've got Frosties that have been in there for too long in the milk and they just expand. Oh, they're the worst thing to eat. There's something else on here as well.
I took hold of the scrap of material and unsnagged it from the spike.
Okay, so he's obviously dropped a lot of stuff through here.
It was the scrap of material I'd found in the sewer.
You got to think he's probably speeding through here. He probably just threw his nose. Maybe he thought that the nose would have gone into the river, gone off, and then obviously he's gone through here, up the ladder, and he's spiked some of his stuff along here. Considering how you know, good he is at assassinating people, you know, how professional he is, despite him dressing up the way he does. Yeah, he's making quite a few mistakes here. Let's see where else we went to.
Hi there. Hold it right there, you sewer rat. I knew you'd come back, and now I've got you.
What are you talking about?
You're trespassing. Come out of there, immediately.
That's what I'm trying to do. Give me your hand.
Ha! You won't catch me with tricks like that. Keep your distance, monsieur.
Okay.
Now, what were you looking for?
We're looking for the costume killer, aren't we? So let's tell him that.
I was looking for a clown.
Huh, ridiculous. Do you really expect me to believe that?
He planted a bomb in the cafe and blew it up.
What? The cafe? Blown up? Mon Dieu. That is awful. And you say the person responsible was dressed as a clown?
That's right. He blew up the cafe, escaped into the sewer, changed his clothes, and came up here.
Ah, mon Dieu. Then, the man I chased, do you think that man and the clown are One and the same?
Well, yes, it had crossed my mind.
Ah, that still does not explain what you are doing down the sewer. For all I know, you are in league with him.
Oh no, I'm just a tourist.
Haha, most tourists are content with the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, or the Pigalle. I didn't realize my waste pipes were such an attraction.
Well, who knows what you flushed down your own toilet, but anyway. So yeah, we've got this guy here, we don't currently know his name, we just popped up into whatever house this is. You may be wondering, where are we now? How far away are we from the cafe? We're not actually that far away. That door is actually where the worker that we got the manhole opener from. And if I had actually spoken out there, you can actually speak to this guy early, and he won't let you in. And this is the only way you can get in here and actually talk to him. He'll just outright not talk to you. Now, the thing with this, a lot of stuff in the early start of this game is trying to win people over so they can actually talk to you. So if we talk to a lot of stuff about him, he thinks that we're still criminal, right? So look, I'll show you here. If I try and talk about anything.
Tell me about the man you apprehended.
What is there to tell? He was a typical criminal type, just like you.
See, he's not really giving anything. Like even if I try the waitress.
Do you know the waitress at the cafe?
Oh, she isn't hurt, is she?
No, she's fine.
Oh, thank heavens. A poor girl like her isn't safe with the likes of you roaming the streets.
Can't you understand? I'm not a gangster. I'm an American tourist.
That's what you say.
Yeah, so his opinion of us is very low, you know. And, you know, for all right, we could be in league with the guy. We could just be trying to, we might be following in his footsteps. You know, might be his accomplice, maybe. You know, and, you know, we haven't exactly acted normally, you know, got an explosion. We lied to the police, telling we were doctors and everything along those lines. But we need to find the costume killer. That's what we're here for. And you can ask him all this stuff, which I'm going to do here. But you'll see, once there is a way you can win him over, and once you do, all these stuff comes back up again. You can ask him, and he'll open up to you. But this is what he says when he doesn't trust you.
Does the name Plantar mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't. Who is he?
The man who was killed in the cafe. I'm gonna find the guy responsible. I'll find him. Even if it means following him down every sewer in every city in Europe.
Bravo! You need some sensible boots. You won't get far in those stupid sneakers.
No, I don't think he's wearing sneakers. Those are loafers, surely. They don't like sneakers anyway. Just before I continue on, I just want to say, every single place that you go to in this game, I just love the art style. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And this is one of the places that feels a lot like it. You know, it's just really nicely drawn. And that's just been the staple of the series. Apart from maybe 3 and 4, which were 3D rendered. 1, 2, and 5 are just absolutely gorgeous. Let's ask him about the briefcase.
Was the guy you saw carrying a briefcase?
Well, I didn't notice. Now are you going to leave? Or do I have to call the police?
Right. So, now we have to ask him about things. Now, I could ask him about a lot of this stuff, but there's one way you could get him onto your side and he will start opening up to you and give you information, because he's already seen the guy, right? And obviously he had to. This is the only exit out of that place. Unless he, you know, hopped into the river, but, you know, it didn't seem like he did that. It definitely seemed like he came up this ladder. How do we get him on our side? Well, we have to lie to him. We have to lie to him. We've said we're a doctor. Now it's time to tell him that we're now a policeman. So let's do that.
Perhaps you'd like to take a look at my card?
What is this? Inspector Augustin Rousseau? What does that say? Hominoid Division?
A homicide. I think the ink's smudged.
Then you are not a tourist.
Okay, I'm not. I lied to you. And I'm sorry.
Don't apologize, monsieur. You know, I had a feeling there was something different about you. It is your posture, your poise. Oh, yes. There is no mistaking the bearing of a disciplined man. And I should know. I was in the army, you know. When I was your age, I was fighting for my life in the African desert. How can I help you, Inspector?
See, now he's completely changed. Now he thinks. I think it's so ironic. They were like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry that I lied to you," and actually we weren't telling him the truth, and now we're lying to him. But man's got to do what a man's got to do. He now thinks that we are Inspector Rosso, so he's going to tell us everything he knows. And yeah, he was talking about a posture there. Funny thing about that, I was always told in schools, and I don't know if it's so much of a thing now. I was always told off if I didn't have a straight back, and I tell you what, now I really appreciate it, because if I was hunched over all the time, then man, I'd have loads of back pain. And thankfully, I don't deal with back pain at a level that I see a lot of other people in that situation. So yes, good posture is key. And if you're sitting down haunching over watching this, straighten your back. You will thank me in the future. Anyway, let's press him on these subjects now. Let's talk about the clown. We need to know where he's gone. That's what we're doing. We need to find out where the costume killer has gone.
Tell me about the man you apprehended.
He was a mean one, monsieur. He grabbed me in an armlock. His face suddenly next to mine. His grip was like iron, but he did not know what he was up against. Oh no, he made a big mistake when he took on one of the desert hyenas.
Yes, I get the picture.
Yeah, so the guy obviously fought with him, and kudos to the guy. He's in his later years, and he managed to fight off a well-disciplined killer. So fair play to him. We give him a round of applause.
Do you know the waitress at the cafe?
You can't suspect her, surely.
Just answer the question, please.
Yes, I know her quite well, you could say. She came to work at the cafe 7 months ago. I look forward all week to the relief she gives me when she visits.
Really? So you'd miss her if she wasn't there?
Oh, mais oui. Who else would I find to cut my toenails?
Okay. Yeah, they don't leave that sexually ambiguous. They just tell you outright why he likes her, because she cuts his toenails for him. Yeah. Okay, let's ask him about Plantard, if he knew the guy.
Does the name Plantar mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
Just flat out gives us, no, he doesn't know. Fair enough. And the briefcase. I mean, the guy for him, he must have seen some sort of briefcase, surely.
Was the guy you saw carrying a briefcase?
Why, yes, he was. Clutched in his arms like a baby.
That belonged to his victim.
Oh, what do you think was in it? Drugs? Stolen jewels?
I don't know. But the killer thought it was worth a man's life.
Nothing is worth that, monsieur.
Just about the voice acting, I'm realising, because you can kind of get the feeling, obviously this is done in, was it 1995, roughly around that era, and like you can tell, like the voice equipment then obviously isn't as good as it is now, so you can kind of hear that it's like kind of taking in the whole room. It's very echoey in that sense, right? I would have loved to have been there and actually seen like actual like video of them actually doing the voice recordings to this. And in Broken Sword 5 they've actually got like the bloopers, and it's just awesome to hear that. I'd love if they could go back and give us something along those lines, something of this game, just an absolute classic. So we've asked him everything up the top. So he fought the guy, he saw the suitcase, but he obviously doesn't have it, and yeah, he doesn't know who Plantard is. So really, he's not really giving us that much, unfortunately. But fair enough to the guy. He fought him, and we'll ask him about what we have next. Let's ask him about the clown.
Take a look at this false nose.
Aha! That looks like a clown's nose to me.
Precisely. He must have dropped it in his panic.
Unless he wanted you to find it.
Why would he want to do that?
To put you off the scent.
To put us off the scent. There's got to be a pun in there, considering it's a false nose. But I'll let one of you guys come up with that.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Nothing, monsieur. It's disgusting. What on earth possessed you to show it to me? Someone has emptied their nostrils into it.
His face there, showing him really dirty, swollen tissue. Oh yeah, that's George Stobart all over.
Does this piece of material mean anything to you?
That is the same cloth as the jacket I found. I'd recognize that pattern anywhere.
The jacket, so we can ask him about the jacket before we do. I'm going to talk to him about the manhole cover.
This is what I used to open the manhole cover.
I have one just the same as that, monsieur. I will fetch it if you like.
No, don't bother.
Oh, it is no bother, monsieur.
Nah, forget it.
Just trying to be helpful, monsieur.
Yeah, helpful. Why would we need two of them? We've already got one. Let's ask about the jacket. Hopefully this is a lead.
Now, about the jacket you found. Do you have it here?
No, monsieur. One of the sleeves was badly torn, so I sent it for repair. A pity, because otherwise it was a fine piece of quality tailoring. It had the tailor's name inside on the label.
Oh wait, so he found... Either I've got this wrong, or he found the clown's jacket, it was torn, so he sent it off to be repaired. In what time? The cafe wasn't blown up that long ago, really.
Where did you send the jacket?
I gave it to an itinerant Romani seamstress.
Just my luck.
Okay, does he know anything else about it? We've got to get something, surely. I mean, maybe he's got something left over in the jacket, something along those lines.
Was there anything in the jacket pockets?
Not a sou. You know what I think?
Do tell me.
He changed out of the clown suit and cunningly disguised himself as an ordinary person.
Looks like I'm up against a mastermind.
The level of sarcasm there from George. We keep pressing him about it because he's kind of just dancing around it.
What was the name on the label?
It was a foreign name. Todryk, I think.
Did you get the address?
There wasn't one, monsieur. Only a telephone number.
Well, I don't expect you to remember a phone number you've only seen once.
74 98 08 59.
You're kidding. That's his phone number?
Yes, that's it. A little trick with numbers that I learned in the desert. I was taught the technique by a Todryk shaman.
That's incredible.
It comes in handy at the supermarket checkout. Do I get a reward?
Honesty, monsieur, is its own reward.
Then I'm glad I do not rely on honesty to pay the bills.
There is that. We've asked him all we can. He gave us the number, and yeah, I actually know a few people that have incredible memory, and they can see something once and recount it straight away. That's pretty amazing. I am not one of those people. Although once I've got a number in my head, then I will remember it for the rest of my life. I remember my ex-girlfriend's number from about 10 years ago. So, and it was, you know what I mean? Like, that's just a number that I had to memorize, and now I still know it to this date. But if you showed me a number on the screen right now, I would not be able to remember what just came up. So, yeah, quite odd. I think people are like that. Sometimes they're very good at remembering, or like I said, you can teach your mind to be like that. But I know some people that memories are just absolutely bonkers. But no, not me. Let's close out the conversation anyway.
I have to be going. Thanks to your help, the citizens of Paris can sleep a little easier tonight.
Vraiment? I was only doing my duty, monsieur. Good luck, Inspector. I hope you catch that killer soon.
So do we. So he's going to show us out now. By showing us out, I mean we're just going to walk out. And that's the only time that you'll have to go there.
Escaped into the sewer, come up into the courtyard, and then slipped back into the street here. It wasn't much, but it was more than the cops had got.
It makes you wonder, actually, right? I was talking about that, how long. Maybe George was knocked out, because the police had taken a while to get here. This guy who was digging here for a while didn't obviously seem to care. But maybe the explosion happened, we were knocked out for maybe 30 minutes. 30 minutes is pretty much all the costume killer would need to get up and around and back onto the street, and then by the time we've woken up, he's already down the street, so we wouldn't have seen him go for anything along those lines. That's quite possible, thinking about it, actually. So what do we have now? Well, we've got Todryk's number, who was involved in this. That seems like the only lead. Maybe we can trace it back to whoever bought it. We can use the phone over here. Alright, so we've got Nico, and then we've got Todryk up here. Let's call Todryk.
Hello? Who is this? Hi. My name's George Stobart. You don't know me.
Correct, Mr. Stobart. I don't. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm trying to trace one of your customers. Could I maybe come over and talk to you?
No, that's not possible.
Oh, okay. Forget it. Listen, all I want is a name.
What are you talking about? Who are you working for?
I guess you might say I'm acting in the interests of truth and justice.
Thank God. I thought you were the police.
There are innocent lives at stake, Mr. Todryk. Lives that you could save.
You're collecting for charity, yes?
No, I'm not. All I want from you is information.
Go on. I'm listening.
Alright, so this guy seems a bit sketchy, right? We say, okay, we want to go and get some information from him, just talk to him, and he freaks. He's like, no, 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 I don't want any part of that. And then he's worried that we're the police. Obviously, something is up with this dude. He's obviously more scared than trying to withhold information. So let's ask him about the clown.
What do you know about the clown who bombed the Café de la Chandelle Verte?
I don't have no idea what you're talking about.
You're cool, Todryk. But I think you know more than you're saying.
I don't know who you be, but sure I am you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Quit playing games with me, Todryk.
I tell you, I know nothing about no clown.
Well, that's bullshit. We know that he knows something about the clown because he's freaking out. Let's press him on Plantard. I don't think we're going to get that much from the guy, but we may as well.
Do you know a guy called Plantard?
No, I never heard of him.
Shall I tell you what happened to Plantard? How he was killed in cold blood?
I told you, I never heard of Plantard.
See, that response was a little bit different, right? He seemed like he knew when we were asking about the clown, but this is getting more angry as if we're pressing him he doesn't know. So let's keep pressing it, see maybe he cracks. Maybe he does know, maybe I'm wrong.
I expect Plantard's a family man, don't you? In their little apartment, Madame Plantard is cooking the supper, listening for the familiar sound of her husband's key in the door. Junior is waiting for his daddy to come home from work. He can't wait to show him the merit marks he earned in school today. Only tonight, Monsieur Plantard won't be coming home.
You forgot the puppy.
Huh?
The faithful puppy dog, waiting for the sound of his master's voice.
Well, maybe they don't have a dog. What do you think?
I don't know, Plantard. I never heard of Plantard. None of this has anything to do with me.
Well, some of it has something to do with him. He's obviously not going to give us any information. We've got nothing more we can ask him about, so we're going to exit the call.
Thanks for nothing, Todryk.
Yeah, thanks for nothing indeed. He was absolutely waste of time, but you know he knows something. When we pressed him on that clown, man, we were talking. George was really going for it. He was really painting the picture. You know, Junior waiting for his daddy to come home. I think Plantard may not have a kid that young, but still, we're going to check in with Nico. That'll be the end of the episode, but we'll chat to her now. We can call Todryk back, but there's no point.
Hello, Nico Collard.
Hello? It's George.
Ah, oui.
You said to call if I could help.
Have you any news for me?
You bet. I met a witness who spoke to the clown. And I know where the killer gets his suits.
No kidding. Hey, I'm impressed.
You are? Well, it wasn't easy.
Look, why don't you come here to my apartment later this afternoon?
Fine. Where do you live?
361 Rue Jarry.
Okay, I'll come over.
I was used to working alone, but I had to admit it felt good with George on the case too. But there were some things I was going to have to do alone, and fast. I needed the answers to some questions. Who was the costume killer? And why did he murder Carchon? Why did Carchon ask for me to interview him? How did he know my father? And why was my editor so scared? There was some kind of secret war going on out there, but who was on which side? One thing I did know. I wasn't going to get the answers sitting at my desk.
Alright, and now we're playing as Nico. Now, you may realise two things, right? First of all, you know the cool animations there. The animation in the original game actually had a different style of animation. It would basically cut the screen in half, and you'd have like them talking. They would have little movement animations and stuff like that. It wasn't anything too impressive, but I was still a little bit ashamed that they removed it because the portraits weren't as good as that in my opinion. But still, and this part that we're playing now is not part of the original game. Yet again, this is more of Nico's stuff. You can actually hear the difference in the audio work, in the voiceover work, because obviously now they're using better equipment, so there's a lot better stuff in terms of recording her. So whenever you can see that, we can now explore her room, but that'll be for next episode. I hope you guys did enjoy it. The plot is thickening. We are hot on the tails of the costume killer. Just what the hell is going on? Why is this conspiracy going? And how does it involve Nico and George? We will find out more next episode. I hope you guys did enjoy it, and I'll catch you all guys next time. Thank you. Okay, so something is in there, so maybe if we come out we can find it. Yes, we can look over here, and...
Behind the table were some damaged pipes.
Yeah, and there's definitely something there. Let's have a look.